Erkut Ches Pasuk Yud Beis. Vayikach Yisro Chosed Moshe Olu Zvochim Lelukim. Yisro had taken Olu Zvochim, burnt offering. Zvochim means a sacrifice which one is able to partake of to Hashem. V'yovo Aaron v'chol ziknei Yisrael lechol lechem. Im chosid Moshe lifnei Elokim. Aaron and all the elders of Yisrael came to break bread. Im chosid Moshe, together with Moshe's father-in-law, lifnei Elokim. So firstly, something's very interesting. We make it a point always, the whole concept of korban is always within the context of Midas HaRachmim, because korban is always associated with atonement. Why does one have relevance to atonement? Only due to God's mercy. Therefore, you find throughout the Sefer Vayikra, the Sefer which discusses, which is referred to as Leviticus, all the korbanos, it's always korban Lashem. Korban Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei connotes the attribute of mercy. Elokim has no relevance to this. And yet, over here Yisro was hosting this meal. Vayikach Yisro Chosed Moshe Olu Zvochem Le'Elokim. He's bringing the burnt offering, and Zvochem means an offerings which are permitted to partake of, like a peace offering, Le'Elokim. He's bringing it Le'Elokim. Le'Elokim is what is the attribute of justice. It has no relevance to the whole concept of korban. V'yovo Aaron l'choziknei Yisrael lecho lechem im chosid Moshe lifnei Elokim. And Aaron and all the elders of Israel came to eat bread, means partake of the meal, together with chosid Moshe lifnei Elokim, before Elokim. Again, a reiteration, Elokim. So I think over here, you're able to understand in one of two ways. Either Elokim means that since initially Yisro was a pagan, and through his quest for truth, he became a monotheist, and now he came to become part of Klal Yisrael. So the Torah is making a point, not that the appellation indicates or connotes the attribute of mercy or justice. Here in the Torah, he's bringing it to Elokim. Elokim, as I always mention, the Sefarno and Parshas Bereshis, we say, Mi chamocha be'elim Hashem. Who is comparable to you among all the Elim? El means powerful. The angels are called Elim. Elokim, he writes over there, the Sefarno, is the plural of El, meaning he encompasses, that's the Almighty. It's Almighty. So therefore, who's the convert, and it's due to his quest for truth, he came upon this truth that Hashem is the Almighty. So the Torah is making a point, he's bringing the burnt offering as Zvochem Le'Elokim. For Elokim means for the Almighty. That's over here, that's the connotation of this Elokim here. Because Yisro is the one who's bringing these sacrifices. We'll see the second Elokim, okay? Now, that's the first approach. The second approach is this. We had mentioned in the name of the Shalom writes, there's a pasuk we say it's a pasuk in Tehillim, we say this part of the Shabbos, Psuke de Zimro, Leiv nitke v'nishbar l'kim lo sivzeh. We don't say this pasuk, it's something which is equivalent of that. Leiv nishbar v'nitke l'kim lo sivzeh. A broken and smattered heart, Elokim lo sivzeh. Hashem, even Elokim will not disgrace. So he writes, the whole concept of tshuva, as Rabbi Yonah writes, is all based on the Midas HaRachmim. But if a person repents and he's devastated to the point that because of what he had done, the remorse and the pain is so deep, he's devastated, he's broken and smattered, Elokim lo sevze, even the Midas Adin, even the attribute of justice will be agreeable that he should be forgiven. That's how the Shalom Kodesh explains that pasuk. That's Elokim lo sivze. Leiv nishbar v'nitke Elokim lo sivze. Even Elokim, the Midas Adin, will not disgrace that person. and allow the tshuva to be accepted. So I had said, we quoted a pasuk in Koheles, where Shlomo says that Elokim yivakesh nirdof. Elokim always favors the underdog, the pursuit. And we explained what was that, because we find that the reason why Noach survived the great flood was Noach Motzel Be'edei Hashem was because he was a nirdof. Because Elokim yivakesh nirdof. So I said it's interesting. Shlomo uses the appellation Elokim. So we had explained that although the Gemara says that at the time of the great flood there were tzaddikim, but when Midas Adin is in force, you can't be perfect enough. But because Noach was a nirdof, even Elokim, even the Midas Adin is agreeable that person should be able to survive. And that's why it was Noach Motzah Chem B'nei Hashem, for that reason, because he was a nirdof. So again, it's the Elokim. Yisro being who he was, where he came from, and what he was willing to sacrifice to come where he came, he brought Zvachim el Elokim. His Zvachim, even though Midas Adin would actually embrace his sacrifices. That's one approach I was thinking. The other approach was, which I mentioned yesterday, what was Moshe had a hesitancy, should he go out to greet Yisro? And Hashem says, you go out and greet him. Why? Because just as I am Mekariv Esarachokim, as I bring those who are far close, and I was Mekariv him, and I brought him close, you should do the same. You should be Mekariv Esarachokim. So Moshe, that's why Moshe went out to greet him. So this is an exception. Yisro was a Rachok. He was far away, he was distant. And Hashem went, it was Mekariv Esarachokim. He brought the far close. When Hashem intervenes and brings the far close, even Elokim, even the attribute of justice, stands by the side and allows this to happen. So Yisro, being who he was, that he was Mekariv Esarachokim, therefore Elokim will accept the korban of Yisro for that reason. So therefore, even though it's Elokim, his korban is accepted for that reason. What is the last part? And Aaron and all the elders came to eat bread, eat the sacrifices. Im Choseh Moshe lifnei Elokim. So Rashi says, what is this lifnei Elokim? Mikan shanene misuda shetalmid chomim misubin bo. A person who benefits from a meal that talmid chomim participate in, kilu nene misiv hashchina. It's like you're benefiting from the radiance of the divine presence. Therefore, they came to eat bread with Choseh Moshe lifnei Elokim. Who's the Elokim? That's the Torah sage. Because it says that a Torah sage is a representation of God's presence. So that's lifnei Elokim. Kol ha'nenem misudoso shel Talmidei Chachomim, which they partake of that Suda, it's nenem miziv hashchina. You're benefiting, you're having benefit from ziv hashchina. The Gemara tells us in Brachos that if you give food to a Talmud Chacham, a person who's that special level, it's as if you brought bikurim. His eating of that fruit or food is like you brought bikurim. And when you give him wine to drink, it's as if you brought libations on the Mizbeach. When he drinks that wine, it's like pouring wine on the Mizbeach. Because who is that person? What is he a representation of? You know, the Gemara tells us that we learn from the Orod, the Torah goes out of its way to tell us that the Orod was made of gold. When he was instructed to build the Orod, which was the repository of the Luchos and the Torah, in the Holy of Holies, it says, Mibayis umibuchutz tetzapeno. It should be inlaid with gold on the inside and on the outside. So the Gemara tells us in Yuma, kol Talmud Chochem shein tocho kibaro, eno Talmud Chochem. A Talmud Chochem is not a person who just has instant recall of Torah. That there's a consistency that the way it looks on the outside, holier than anyone else, He's genuinely that. He's totally, fully consistent. As the Orim was gold on the inside and the outside, the Talmud Chacham on the inside, he's no less pure than on what he looks like on the outside. So what is that? That is the repository of Torah. And that's why only then are you classified as a Talmud Chacham. So Talmud Chacham doesn't mean a Torah scholar. Talmud Chacham means a person who is speaking here that the Shekhinah, the divine presence, has relevance to where he is, to this person. Second. Just knocked it off.